This video continues from the previous. Okay, so here we are. I went into 3D Studio Max, which is a software program I've been using since 1998. And I quickly threw together my main model, which you can see, the cat head. And then I just did another. I started to do another one. It's by no means finished. It's just meant to be a schematic model. And what a schematic model is a rough idea. You've refined your massing model just a little bit more. It doesn't have details worked out at all. It's just kind of based on knowing that it's roughly 24 by 24 by 60, and has 5 levels. And so you can see the one that I was working on. Here's the base, and I've got holes in it because remember this was sort of a area that was watching on the bottom level. It's watching the play going on. But somebody could also curl up in here and go to sleep if they wanted to take a nap. The next level, and I intentionally left this gap, but now I don't like it. It's too little. When I talk about how if you do something, you've got to do it enough that it looks intentional. To me, that looks like unintentional. So I also think this looks more substantial, and that I probably would just pull the edge of that down so that gap is gone. And what that is it's on the second level, and there's a hole here. The cat can go in and sleep inside of that. So that's a sleep space. The next level is completely open, right? So somebody could jump up here, and they would have this level, and they can start looking out the window now. Okay, this one's completely open, or they could turn around and look out this way. Now, I would cut a hole in the bottom of this one so that the cat could go on this level and crawl into this one. And then there's a hole here to look out the window. And then from here, there would be a hole in the bottom, somewhere in the bottom, I think, of this structure. That would have to be worked out. That the cat could come up in here, can come here and get in the cat head up here. And then this is a platform that they could walk around, right? And this is sort of meant to be symbolic, an abstraction of the collar. And this is not as detailed. This is more the simplistic one. This is obviously isn't the more creative one I did. But you see, once it happens after I added this blue plastic and this lime green metal and these red colored balls, and this is, I haven't quite decided what metal that should be, but probably some sort of foam head to make it comfortable. And so you very much see something that looks like Dada meets Pop. Because I knew when I was picking my colors, I knew when I was laying out my forms, I knew that what I needed to do because I had already done all my planning. And so while it may seem like you're spending a lot of time in the beginning doing the planning, if you don't, you will never get this to work right. You will spend a lot of time trying to get it to work, but without a target, without a plan, it never comes out as good as you want it to. And so considering I only spent a couple hours throwing this together, I'm really actually very happy with it. I think that it's ready at this point to go into the design development phase. And what would happen is we would begin to refine the details, make it match the dimensions, make sure the dimensions work out, make sure that this is my, these are my, it doesn't have to be exactly 18. I could, I just was using that as a basis. Say this needed to be 20, and then these only needed to be 15 because the cat's going to lay down inside of them. And then this could be bigger, right? So, and we're still below 6 feet here. That could actually go a little bit higher because we have up to 8 feet really. So there's latitude here, and we would work those things out, adjust the proportions a little bit based on constructability, but it's not far off just because I started with a dimension. And then this one over here, I think this is really cool. And again, I was getting this kind of Dr. Seuss feel to it, though that was not intentional. But it is very Dada because it's weird, right? Remember I said this needed to be weird and playful and fun. And I would definitely have some sort of fountain toy thing hanging off of this, or, little, and maybe possibly some hanging off of this. Because this one you can go inside. This one you could sit at this level. This one you could sit on that level. And then these you could sit in, because cats like to do that. And then there would be some sort of little fountain toy coming out of the top to make it clever. But because this is more my focal point, you see how this kind of takes a back seat? And then I would have the additional spaces. Now, on the plan you guys saw, everything was laid out on a very rectilinear grid. Because this is weird, I would push and pull things. I would get them off grid to fit that weirdness, to fit that, lack of hard structure. I'm really happy with how this turned out, considering I've only invested about 4 hours of my life in it, maybe 6, which I would never spend that little amount of time on a project ever. I just wanted to show you all the steps, the process. I want you to see how to work through it. If you get stuck somewhere, let me know. I'll be more than happy to give you feedback. But the idea is that when you're designing, you start very big picture and you start to whittle it down and work your way down. And eventually you get to the details. And for me, this is where I pass it off. Well, I take it in design development, but then that's where I pass it off to the production team. And then they do what they do, which is construction documentation, and they turn it into drawings. They turn it into working drawings. That is not a strength of mine. I can do it, but it takes me way too long. There are people who are really good at it, and I let them do it. So it's good to learn. You want to learn how to do it. I did. I learned. It was hard because the details take me longer to understand. But in the beginning, you need to learn how to do those things. You're going to spend a lot of time doing those things so that you understand how things get put together. And then later on, as you get further in your career, you move up and you become a senior designer, and then you'll have junior designers who will work on your projects with you and support you. But this is it. So this will be the final video in this. I hope all this has made sense. The hardest part about design is there are no hard and set fast rules, despite the fact that we talk about the rules. There just isn't a one size fits all, follow the leader. This is not something where you just say, here's the recipe. This is something that you have to adapt and mold and define as you go. And it's tough, but the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and the more enjoyable it will be. And I'm really happy with this. So hope you guys had fun, and this is it. So I hope you've learned a lot from this course. And if you have any questions, or if you would like additional information at any time, please let me know. See ya.